Hey guys, it's Hayes, mobile auto repair in Jackson, Mississippi. Today we're going to be working on, man, something just bit me. We're going to be working on a 2001 Nissan Altima today. He called me up and says, hey, you know, my car is not running, lack of power, it's kind of missing. You got to keep your foot on the gas just to keep it running. I said, all right, I'll come on out there and check it out. What I found was he had a bad vacuum leak on the intake manifold. I'm going to show you briefly just how I tested it, and then we'll do a kind of step-by-step parts cleaner. Gotta hurry getting this car through the window. I'm gonna keep the car running with this. All right, you guys hear that? All right, you guys get the point. So we're sucking air down there. But there's another clip. You know what we're doing. We're going for the intake manifold. And this is going to be step one. Step one, you're going to disconnect the battery, okay? I don't care which one you do, the negative or the positive. I usually take off the negative. You're going to take off the air cleaner housing, okay? Because you're going to have to get up in this area, driver's side. You're going to take off the cleaner. You're going to take off the hose. Not a big deal. It's this one right here. Okay, you're going to leave this piece on there. Just disconnect it from that end right there. That goes on that, and you'll see when you throw it in there. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to have to take this apart. We're not trying to take a lot of stuff apart. We're just trying to get it off in bulk. Is what our goal is. All right. Step two is you're going to take this hose off, this water hose. I got tucked around here somewhere. This big old water hose right here. You're going to remove this water hose will be next, okay? It goes in right there. You're just going to stuff it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way for now. A little bit of antifreeze is going to come out of there. So pay attention to that. Next we're going to do is we're going to remove the two starter bolts. It's not a real big deal. Anyways, it's not hard to do the starter bolt. The starter bolt is right there. You see it. You got a clear shot, and you got a clear shot on the top side too, which is right over there. And you can't miss it. All right, let's see if I can get a shot of it. You probably see the bottom. It's right there by my finger. Okay, the other one is up here, and you can see them better if and the other one is right there. Clean shot, okay, not hard to do at all. Take those two bolts off because you're going to need to get the starter off in order to do this job, okay, just to make things a lot easier. It's 7 o'clock right now. This job calls for 5.5 hours of labor. So we're going to try to get it done in 5.5 or less is what our goal, my goal is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start on the top. I'm going to start removing all my fuel lines, everything that's connected to the intake manifold in this area, all the way around it. I'm going to start disconnecting it. Fuel injectors, I'm going to pull the rail out of there. I'm going to disconnect most of all this is where I'm at. So let me go ahead and disconnect the hoses. Fuel lines. That vacuum line coming from that copper looking tube. If you look down there, there's another leak right there. You guys see that? Right there. It's not in the area where the vacuum leak I detected was, because the vacuum leak I detected was right up in here behind the throttle body. All right, so but you know, we're gonna have to replace some hoses, I'm sure, on this job. So there's one I found. So let's keep moving forward. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the fuel rail. This is the rail where the fuel injectors are. All right, so I'm gonna remove that, and I'm gonna get me a little space in here because you gotta get bolts out in here, and just give me a little extra room to play. I really wasn't gonna take off the injectors, but it looks like I'm gonna have to. So I'm taking off the injector. All right, once you remove all the bolts on the injector rail, okay, this whole thing will slide up. Take these two bolts out of the cable connector. They go down here, okay? You take those two bolts out, get it out of the way. Go ahead and disconnect your, you can go ahead and disconnect these cables off of your throttle if you want at this time. Nothing to see, nothing to see. All right, got the cables disconnected from the throttle, okay? So now you can get this whole thing, and you can get it out of the way. All right, and once you do that, once you unplug them, you can take this whole unit up now and flip it. And you can go ahead and disconnect the fuel pressure regulator now too. I'm gonna replace that hose too. That just snapped right off. There's the other end right there. All these hoses are gonna have to be replaced. You might as well get it done now. So we're gonna do it all. All right, these are the injectors right here, pouring gas everywhere. If you look down here, there's O-rings in every one of those holes. You make sure when you reinstall that you reinstall these gaskets and clean that area up a little bit, okay? Make this a clean, because I don't want to lose them. Hopefully on the new gasket set, they'll come with new ones, okay? So, I don't know, I don't have the new gasket set yet. I'll pick it up tomorrow. That one looks like, all right. Guess we're okay. One more to do. There we go. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put these in a safe location. Okay. Also have two more spacers. They're rubber spacers right there. Injectors and two spacers, and they're loose, so be careful you don't lose them. They fit right into that groove down there. All right, and there's one on this side too, right there. All right, so we'll put those in a safe spot too. Okay, now we have access to these bolts right there. Wherever the other one is, see? So we got more room. So we're making progress. We've probably been on it about 30 minutes so far, and we're seeing some progress. All right, so let's keep. All right, guys, we should be getting a little bit closer anyways. I found another hose that was broke. You look down here, there's another one right there. Vacuum leaks everywhere on this. So that's number 2. So this is what we're gonna do now. Remove the hose. Remove the hose like we said we were gonna do. I'm gonna start removing these bolts on this bracket first because I gotta get to the EGR plate. So this part is gonna have to come off. So let's work on taking this off, okay? Bolt here. Might have to take out that bolt too for that ground wire. Bolt here. There might be a bolt back there too, I don't know. Let's get that off. This is going to be a quick shot of vacuum lines and where they go. Broken one goes to the EGR valve. All right, you got one going there. You got two coming off this rack we're trying to remove. All right. You got this one that goes into the breather tube. going from down there. You got one hose right there. Where does it go? It goes to the rack and it's going over here to that one. Okay, so we're good there. All right, that's all I wanted to show. Hose coming off of that line right there. And it's going down there to the intake manifold. Down there, okay? All right, I'm gonna take this 12 millimeter off right there. Set it to the side. Go and leave the bolt in it. All right, and now you can get a better shot at that bolt down there, okay? So let's get the EGR. Okay, there's two bolts behind here. It's the bracket. Now you can take that nut off right there on the EGR. All right, and also once you get that off, you can get to these bolts back here. You can take the upper intake off. So right now I'm going to remove the EGR line. I'm going to put some penetrating oil on that and that. I'm going to spray it all down. And I'm going to start removing some upper bolts. All these bolts along the side, these ones on the back side. And let's see what goes. All right. It came off pretty good. All right, EGR tube is off. All right. Still gonna have to get it off from the bottom, I believe, because that manifold is gonna come up and it's gonna hit that. I'm just gonna take this 10 millimeter bolt off right here that's tied onto that tube. See if I can get it a little play room on it. I might not have to loosen it up from the bottom. I don't know. All right, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this linkage because I want to get more room out of this EGR tube. The other end is connected down here, down there. I'm going to have to heat that up or something and get that off because I can't get it off like that. I got a torch in my truck, but let me just see. That's about all the room I'm gonna get. I might have enough to get it out of there, but I sure would like to get this all the way off. So I'm gonna work on that. All right, I tried to put some heat on it with my torch, but you know, it did not want to move. So you know, I tried my best. It was glowing, but it said, man, I don't want to come out of here. So it ain't coming out. So I'm going to leave that alone. Let's go underneath the bottom. Since we did pretty much all we can do up top for right now. Might have to take that EGR off. I don't know yet. We're going to go down here and take care of these two bolts. 3 bolts that are holding down the bracket that's holding down the manifold to the block. I seen some video on YouTube that he actually did a sawzall on it. And anyways, you don't have to do all that sawzalling. He sawzalled it right there. You see that bolt right there? There's supposed to be a bolt. I took it out already. That's a long extension 10 millimeter bolt, okay? There's another one on the other side over here. We're going to take that off now. You'll see it right there. Right there. Another bracket. And we're going to be taking off this 12 millimeter bolt here because here's another bracket holding it. So 12 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter on the other side. Nice, easy, not a real big deal. So let's remove those 2 left. The 2 that are left. So let's get these extra. All right, this is the underside. There's the starter hole right there. Once you get the starter out of the way, you can reach underneath here and you can grab those bolts up top. Okay. Let me see if you can get a good shot of that. Don't know if I'll be able to or not, but there they are right there. See? So you get all those bolts out on top. I think there's one over there too, I don't know. I see 1, 2, 3. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. So let's get that off. All right, I'm back underneath the vehicle. Let me show you. You can actually see the leak where it's coming from. Let me get my camera down up in here. There's the intake manifold right there. All where you see that black, brown crud is where the intake leak was actually coming from. See? See how clean it is over there? This is where all that carbon and stuff was leaking down through the gasket, and that's where your leak is coming from. Let me see if I can get a zoom in shot on that. You actually see almost a drip coming out of it. All right there. So all that carbon stuff. All right, so my issue is right now is getting that bolt out right there. And you see I kind of boogered it up already. It's a really tight fit. Let me show you how I'm going to attempt to get it. I got a long 12 millimeter. And what I'm doing, how I'm reaching it, is I'm coming in through here. There's a little bracket that I had to take off. There it is right there. It's bracket for the wiring harness. I took that off, 10 millimeter. I'm just going to push it out the way so I can get my hands that way. And that's how I'm reaching. So wish me luck. All right, guys, I did get it out. It's pretty challenging. This is definitely the worst bolt to get out. Is back there in that corner on the passenger side. I don't see any other way to get it but in through the bottom as all the other bolts. I did see one more thing. I don't know if I'll have to take it off or not unless I'm taking out the whole intake manifold, but there's a bracket. Let me flip the camera around. All right, there's a bracket right there where the starter goes. Right there. Right there. You see that bolt right there above the starter hole? My light is almost shining on it. That's a bracket, and that bracket ties into the, can't really get a good shot. You can see it from there. That shiny bolt is connected to the lower intake manifold. I'm going to leave that be for right now because I'm just trying to take off the top section. If I have to, I'll come out and take that out, but I don't think I'll have to take that out, but I might. All right, guys, let's get up top and take out those two torque studs, and we should be able to get this thing out of here. All right, it's going to be 8 millimeter inverted torque. Okay, inverted torque. I got a little 1/4-inch drive ratchet on it. I got a little movement coming out of the manifold. I'll show you in a minute. Let me get the other side off. Man, I hope this thing pulls off here. Like I've said, it's been years since I've done this, and I remember it being a pain in the ass. I think I told myself then I wasn't going to do this job again. Anyways, we're going to get it done. Put some new gaskets on it. You know, we found out where the leak was coming from. We're going to replace all these dry rotted hoses, and he should be running like a top. All right, well, at least better than he did. All right, there's one stud. Inverted torque. Okay, let's go get the other side. All right, long extension. Inverted torque. Back that stud out of there. These studs right here, they have little torque bits on them. You see them? Little torque bits, inverted torque. There's one on this side and there's one on the opposite side. All right, you remove that, and we got all these other bolts already moved, I believe. So let's see if we can take these out and we can move this manifold up. All right, one more thing I'm gonna have issues with. Not issues, just, you know, a little problem. You see those two bolts right there? They're on this bracket. They're on this this part right here, okay? That's all part of that. So take these two bolts out, and that way I can clear that, because right now that piece is hitting up against it. So I want to remove this whole section, all right, so I can get this manifold up. Because as you see, it's loose, but it's just hitting that. So let me take those two bolts out and let's try this. All right, got another bolt somewhere. Oh my God, this is, there it is. There it is, it's hiding right here. All right. All right, good. All right, we got that damn piece out of the way. I mean, that piece out of the way. Now, as you see, we got some room for it to come up. Still worried about this EGR tube though. All right, let me figure out what's going on now. It's always something. I don't know where it is yet, but it's definitely coming from this side. I got something holding it in this area. This side is completely loose over there, but this side has a little bit of restriction going on. So let me find out what's holding it. I didn't see, and it is right there underneath that nipple. Right there. There's another one. All right. All right, so there it is right there. And it's loose. I just missed it. Just missed it. You see it? See, it's moving around now. One more to go. All right, guys, I think we're ready to get it out. We're close to getting out. We probably got to take some hoses off and stuff. I don't know. We're going to find out, though. This EGR tube is going to get in the way. It's definitely going to be getting in the way. You remember that bracket that I said I wasn't going to take off right away? I think I might have to drop that thing out the way a little bit. I might. Oh man. Yeah, I'm not doing this job again. This is my last. This is my last. This is my last one I'm doing. I think I'm gonna take it off from the bottom. I might get a little bit of room so I can drop the lower manifold down just a little bit. It might help me out a little bit. So let's go down to the bottom and take that one bolt out. Let's go and put you on pause. That coolant temperature sensor, because you're gonna have to get out that pop that the PVC out of there. So let's take that off real quick. Taking off the coolant temperature sensor so we can get out the PCV valve. It's a 19 millimeter. Down up in there. The PVC is right there. See if I can get a light on it. So you got to pop that out so you can get it out of there. So let me do that real quick. See if I can pop that out of there. See if I can set my flashlight here. Get me a little light anyways. Alright, let's see if I can pop it out of there. Go ahead and replace it while I'm in here. It's coming. Oh, it's coming. All right, I got it out. And there you go. Now you can lift it up. So PV is now removed. You won't be able to lift this up until you get the PVC out of there. Pop it out of there, and it's on the passenger side. So let me see what I can do here. Oh my God. This damn. There's something else holding it. Oh my God. You fucking shitting me? I got another hose holding it or what? It's still, oh, this vacuum, no, it ain't the vacuum line. What else is holding me? Something else is holding me. It's still gripping on the bottom, on the lower, for some reason. It's holding on to that lower. I don't know what's holding it yet. There's nothing holding it. I just got to get it out of there now. That come on, baby, get out of there. Yeah, we got one hose. No, it ain't. It's out. I got it. I got it. I think I got it. I got one hose holding it. Yep. That hose right there on the bottom. This big hose right here on the bottom is holding it. Not a big deal. I should have did that when I was underneath it because I saw it when I was underneath. So let me get that hose out of there. I can pull this thing out of there and we're done. We can start cleaning up and reinstalling it. All right, we're gonna flip it. We're gonna flip it this way and we're gonna grab that. Okay, we got that off. We got that hose off of that piece. All right. Yeah, it figures. You gotta remove this piece right here. No, I don't. I'm just gonna leave it right there. Take this thing out of here now. Ugh. Got it. All right, there we have it, intake manifold. Thank God. All right, here's the lower section right here. All right, and that just flops around in there. All right, that's good. I'm not gonna worry about that. All right. See if I can find some old gasket. The old gasket is right there. Some of it, it's just crumbling. It's crumbling. It's crumbling. So, and there we have it. Broken gaskets. Really dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my wire wheel and we'll clean this area up and we'll install new gaskets and we'll start reassembling this thing. Let's do it. All that stuff is what you saw leaking down through the gasket. You remember that brown mark I showed you down there, the leak area? That's where it is, and that's basically what it is. So